Hello, Christina Rezzo. Thanks for tuning in to this video, and I hope you all are doing well. Happy Thursday to each and every one of you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video and share it with your friends. The news came from a short clip from Megyn Kelly. I think she filmed this yesterday. She was interviewing a lady, and it just so happens that one of our famous soccer heroes of the women's USA team. And this is not the first time she's done this either. Megan Rapinoe or Raponi or the pronunciation of her name is irrelevant at this point because she's a disgrace to our country and the American flag. So Megyn Kelly, during this interview, she played a clip of her reaction. You know how in if you've ever seen any type of professional soccer, especially playing another country, you'll have the kids would the soccer players would hold hands with the kids and walk out. So here we are. We got the American children representing our country standing in front with their hands over their heart, and all the other players have their hands over their heart. I think there was one other woman of color, but she may have been one of those pro colored Black Lives Matter people. I don't know, cause I can't say black because I don't know if the woman was black or not, but she was non-white, and she was another that didn't put her hand over her heart or even sing the national anthem, excuse me, in addition to this Megan person. Now, and don't get me wrong, I wasn't super patriotic like 20 years ago until I lived in another country and I was treated differently simply because of the way I looked. I'm not talking about physical features. I'm just talking about, and that could have been it. But I had like usual, I wear my natural hair. You're not gonna find me with some wig all the way down to my back, the thing that black folks like and all that crap. I'm just gonna wear my natural hair. Um, and which I did. It was like a mini, like puffy little, I guess you can call them afros, and it was coily, and I was living overseas during my Peace Corps volunteer days. And when I got to my site, it didn't happen so much when I was with my group during training. But once I got to my site, I was really bullied a lot simply because of my appearance, the way I look, race, and gender, because that's what they attacked. So I have evidence that's why they picked on me without knowing me as an individual. So when I got back to the States, then my whole life was turned around, and I was blessed to be in this country. Um, I was really born again as a Christian. Appreciated this country, um, and that's rare to hear Black Americans say that. Uh, because honestly, and I've come across other blacks from the Caribbean and in African countries, and they would never call me an African American. So, I mean, I don't correct people if and when they call me that. I just leave it be, especially if they're strangers and they're describing me fine. But every black person you meet is not an African American, just like every person who appears white is not white. That person could be Hispanic, that person could be from the Middle East. I mean, unless the person flat out tells you, or you just come out and ask. Only when you're comfortable with the person. Don't go up to strangers and ask them what they are. And I learned this the hard way living in New York City. But I digress. This person, I don't think she would appreciate, because she, in addition, not only she's a double minority herself, gender, and then she's part of the rainbow community. And over 80 different countries do not accept her like that. Now she's protected being here, but she has to find that out herself. She wants to become this woke person, whatever that means, and protest and just have a dark heart against a country where she's allowed to practice her unnatural lust without it being against the law or being jailed or stoned to death. And that's something I had to think about as a Christian. This is the only country where we don't have to be bullied that way. And I think I have it easier because I believe in this world. That's why I always talk about in my videos praying for the persecuted church. Like over, as I'm speaking right now, I would say 52, 53, could be more, that where the gospel of Jesus Christ is illegal. But that's not a shocker, and that's why a lot of true believers. I'm not talking about Christians that just proclaim it because they grew up in a church and they were baptized. No, I'm talking about true believers. We're not surprised at the persecution because Jesus already told us it was going to happen because they persecute. Look what they did to him, and he was a sinless being in his ministry. Now he sits at the throne at the right hand of God. The Father, excuse me. Jesus is God. At the right hand of the Father. Jesus is the Son. So she she's gonna, it's something that's just gonna have to get her double woke to know to appreciate this country. Whether she and whoever she's gonna have a fake marriage with, even though it's illegal in this country for them to marry, according to the Obama administration, doesn't mean it's a real marriage. Whoever she marries in her fake marriage, she goes to another country. She travels with this person. If she's still playing soccer, should be surprised if not. Now she'll be safe on that soccer field, but she goes out in that street hand in hand with her so-called fake marriage. I'm not gonna say wife. Her so-called fake marriage, if that happens for her, hopefully it'll be a wake-up call for her to appreciate this country. Because I'm not saying it's right, because I grew up, I'm a Gen X. So I remember homosexuals being bullied and even physically assaulted on the streets when I was a kid. It was just unacceptable all across the board. They said, oh, it's just, excuse me, just bad in black and Hispanic community. No, all across the board. They had to, Boys Town, growing up in Chicago, that's where they better had stayed. And if they did go somewhere in public, they didn't come out like that. I think in the beginning of talk shows, I would say, when did Oprah come out? Like in the 80s. Maybe like in the beginning of the late 80s up until the early 90s when talk shows were very popular. Then they were coming out talking about being married and all this nonsense. And then you had that church under Fred uh, Phelps, the Phelps family, I think, started protesting against these people. They may be radical, But honestly, at that time, I mean, I'm not saying I'm supporting these people because I think they're also a cult. Um, I can understand at that time their motive of protecting the children, because if you heard their whole story, how they came about that, they were actually pedophile. Um, no, I'm not gonna say that. I don't want my video flagged on YouTube. The P word, people who violated an innocence. This family actually witnessed this in their town. And that's how it began. I don't know if you could probably find the documentary on YouTube. Fred Phelps and I keep forgetting the name of the Baptist church. It's probably best. It's probably God's will that I forget it. God's will I forget about it. The name. Because again, I do believe um there's power in the blood of Christ, and he can redeem, and by his blood could save anybody despite of the sin. Do I believe homosexuality is the worst sin? Absolutely not. If I lust after a man, God is going to look down on that and be disgusted with that, just like what these people do. But I don't deny that lust and adultery, because if I lust after a man, that's what it is. I mean, Jesus said it himself. You look with lust, you commit adultery in your heart. That's what it'll be. And in a couple of videos ago, I even had a T-shirt about that. Pornography is adultery. So, you all let me know in the comments what you think about this Megan situation. But I brought this all about for that purpose, that she keep despising this country the way she wants to. It's gonna take one incident in another country, maybe more than that, where she's gonna end up with her so-called lustful partner, and she's gonna get bullied for it. Because again, it's illegal in 80 countries or more. Everybody ain't gonna pop like, ooh, you're gay, that's great, like in the Western world. No, no. And she's gonna, God forbid, she comes across a country, so you practice that nonsense outside, especially if there's children present, you're out. And I'm not talking about leaving the country. They may give her that option. Yeah. Christina Renso, thanks for listening. Pray for our nation. Pray for our brothers and sisters under the persecuted church. And as I've been ending, the Lord bless you, keep you, and may his light shine upon you. And I'll talk to you as soon as the Lord wills it.